is up, everybody? Hello. Welcome back to the stream. Hopefully people are out there. If not, I know everyone's going to show up eventually. Hopefully somebody will. But yeah, time to do another stream. Alright, so actually I took yesterday off. There's some streams on AGDQ that I wanted to watch. Mario Kart 64 and a couple other ones. So did that instead. I needed the night to rest up anyway. I've been actually kind of resting all day long. But today, we're kind of back to streaming, just trying to figure out what I really want to stream, because the Yakuza 0 stuff fell through, so that game's in the trash can. If you like it, good for you. I hate it. But tonight's theme for video games is going to be retro games. Some games you may have played before, some games I may have played before on stream. It's basically Aliens, different Aliens games that we have that have come out through different systems. We're talking Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, the arcade, PC ports, maybe a failed system named after a feline that roams the jungle. Might get to something like that too. So now basically I need to figure out what I want to play first though, and that part I haven't really kind of decided on yet. I should probably do that real quick. I think we'll probably start with a game that I kind of like a lot. I don't have this on the Super Nintendo yet. I really want to get it. I do have it for the Sega Genesis, however. At least I'm pretty sure I don't have this for Super Nintendo. Let me pull up my video game list and double check it. Super Nintendo / Famicom. I do not own it, so I need to add this into my system here. It is Alien 3. The game I definitely enjoy. I went through and I changed a couple different things for RetroArch. Changed around the icons. I like this a little bit better because you can see a little bit easier, kind of like what the systems are that you have on there. And also, more importantly, the icons have changed to the actual controllers for what the system is. So as you can see, this is a 3DO controller, PlayStation, PSP. It's a little bit easier to kind of stand out versus the more kind of generic controllers they had in by default. Same thing for the icons for this. This would just be like a normal little icon showing you nothing there, but it shows you the disc for the 6800, or 68,000 I should say. Probably got Saturn working. Saturn emulation still is not that good on RetroArch. I was not too pleased with it. Tends to have sound issues and so forth, so kind of interesting, kind of generic purple disc. Then I got, oh, look at this. Alien vs. Predator for Jaguar. Interesting. We're going to head back over to the Super Nintendo. Alien. Oh, I forgot there was an Alien vs. Predator on Super Nintendo. Probably play that too. But Alien 3, I enjoyed for the Super Nintendo. I didn't like the Genesis version, and I do own the Genesis version. They are kind of like the same name, but different games. 2010, 2005. Just looking for the latest version. I think this might be it. Now, RetroArch, if you have RetroArch, actually I don't have Colonial Marines. I looked, I wasn't sure if I had that one or not. It didn't work. Also, what's up? So RetroArch has an update, like you can do like nightly updates on it. Do not update it currently because I need to put in a trouble ticket for it. Somebody had one earlier but then closed it because they're an idiot, but the problem wasn't fixed. Basically, it's registering all controllers as an 8-bit do or 8-bit do or whatever it is controller. So certain things like menuing doesn't work anymore, like if you try to bring up the fast menu. So I need to put in a trouble ticket for them to fix up sometime tonight. But I do have, I don't have Colonial Marines, which is kind of funny how they figured out most of the problems of that game. But I do have Alien vs. Predator Classic, the 2000 release. I actually have that in Steam, and I actually have the physical copy that I bought way back in the day. It's just going to tell me the story, is it just going to loop through the title again? Nope. Sirocco. I found it really fascinating that people were able to mod and fix a lot of Colonial Marines. Like, they found out that there was like a bug, there was a misspelling in the code for the enemy AI, which is why they acted so stupid. If you fix it, they actually started behaving more like they had advertised the game to be. There's also been a whole bunch of graphical mods and things you can put on top to make the game try to look better than the lie that they basically sold us on. That's a pretty good voice clip for Super Nintendo. Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible lie. When you go look at that E3 presentation, they had both of them versus the final game. It was like not even close. And of course, then you have the whole Randy Pitchford, the whole debacle. Basically, anytime he opens his mouth, it's a controversy because he doesn't know how to basically take criticism and grow from it. And the title for my stream tonight is like Alien 3 is a good movie. I should have put an asterisk in there because it is a good movie. If you've ever seen the assembly cut, the original version of the film before Fox Studio came in and just screwed everything over. Like, basically said, like, no, you're a first-time director, we're going to take over, we're going to change these things around. Too bad if it screws up your story. Whole big plot segments were cut out. It's an amazing movie. If you can get your hands on the Alien Quadrilogy version, or actually I've seen it even sold by itself. But yeah, it's like the director's cut or assembly cut of Alien 3 is really, really good. I was so shocked when I saw that movie. Because I had seen Alien 3 and just did not like it. I mean, a lot of people did not like it. And then all the director's cuts of the movies came out and became released. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. It's just such a shame that David Fincher got screwed over. But yeah, Alien Resurrection was the fourth one. That was a turd. I saw that in movie theaters, and I'm like, wow, I've wasted my money. That was just not a good film. Alright, so it's going to loop over. So, you like all the Aliens movies, so that leads me to this question here, Morg. Do you like Prometheus? Because they're Aliens movies, but not Aliens movies, because Ridley Scott keeps screwing with the timeline and everyone's pretty much ticked at him for it. I consider those to be Aliens movies, even though I do not like them at all. Oh yeah, she was... Everyone else I could see in Alien 4, except for Winona Ryder. Yeah, because like she just did not fit in with the rest of the cast. It was really a huge miscast, like you said. I would definitely agree with that. This is the sound of a machine gun, by the way. I need an adult. All right, game start. Get ready for the movie event of the summer. So this game is kind of unique in that you have different weapons. And you have ammo counts, and you actually have mission structures. Alien 3 for the Sega Genesis is it's like a hide-and-seek type game. It's like you have a timer counting down, so you have like 5 minutes. You have to rescue prisoners. If you get hit, you lose a chunk of time. It takes forever for you to get up. I'm not sure why Ripley kind of looks like a bald Michael Ironsides or balder Michael Ironsides in this game, but she does. You like Prometheus? I like the original. I read the script for Prometheus, and it was a lot better. It filled in a lot more gaps because you're wondering like who would agree to go on this mission but not understand what it's about. Why people were suddenly chickens, like, oh yeah, we're supposed to go here and do this stuff, and why they're suddenly like running away from obvious things. It's just like the original script before Scott got his hands on it and just hacked at the pieces is like, no, I want to do this my way. I think he has that accent, but yeah, he just kind of really messed it up. It's kind of like Kill Bill. The script for Kill Bill was absolutely freaking amazing, and Tarantino decided to change the second half of it, but it was mind-blowing. Picture quality of Potts' personal PDTs, look at A. Potts. Some prisoners supposed to be trapped in cell block 3. Yeah, so I did not like Prometheus. It was just, it reminded me like of somebody saw a movie, like an Aliens movie, and then tried to go and recreate it themselves from memory, and they were drunk with a head wound at the time. It's like, so you have things that were like aliens but not quite. Also, we had like all the lore behind. Basically, I would say that with Prometheus, it was kind of like what Rian Johnson did for Star Wars, as in screwing things up. Like, I'm gonna totally screw with your expectations and what you expect to be Star Wars. I'm gonna say, big middle finger and change everything you love because take that. That's what the Prometheus movies seems like to me, because there had been all this established lore of how the aliens, like basically they're all throughout the planet. They've been seeded by predators. Even they're not sure who they came from. They found the original people. I mean, there's like books and all this expanded universe, all detailing, and it's like, oh no, aliens are just formed by whatever they happen to be in, which kind of tied into Alien 3 a little bit. But I mean, like even weirder stuff, like you have these creators who had created life on Earth, and then they went through and did all these different changes, and then an android goes crazy and he starts manipulating it more, trying to get to the xenomorphs that we know. I'm like, oh my god, stop it. Alright, examine blueprints. So I need to find my way to the cell block 3. So, not paying attention and ranting about this here instead of paying attention to the briefing. Basically, in this game, in Alien 3, if you've never played it before, you have missions. You need to basically go through and complete missions. Basically, you accept these different things and you try to basically find your way to them and complete the objectives. Alien Corridor 1. Weapons Room 11. So you have like a refill station. Okay, but where's cell block 3? Oh. There's some people just like refuse to age and just stay young looking forever. It's really freaky. But speaking of like de-aging and stuff, it's like some people who like, it's like, of course now they have like you have technology to de-age people for video, like for movies. And I think like the best technique that I've seen for that so far is definitely the Marvel movies, the Ant-Man movies. So, I mean, they just like, it's like, you're looking at CG, but it's like, okay, this is cell block 4 is where cell block 3 is, go figure. I mean, you're looking at CG de-aging of the actors like Michelle Pfeiffer and stuff like that, but it's like really impressive to see. It looks seamless. I mean, I'm sure like years from now I'll look at it, a couple years and I'll go, oh my god, this looks terrible. But I mean, it was really impressive to see how they're able to blend that quite well. Such dramatic music for this game. Here we go, yes, this is where I need to be. Wow, that one exploded real good. You know, I have only seen like bits and pieces of Stranger Things. I have actually not sat down and watched it because I don't have Netflix. Okay, so flamethrower does not reach through, but machine gun does. Okay. You're all saved, sir. It's pretty cool. It's very, very dramatic. It sets the tone of the game quite well. This kind of claustrophobia, and there's lots of things running around. I think it's quite good. So I need to figure out where else to go in here, because I know there's a guy up top. Oh, a ladder. I really like this game. I remember renting it and getting really far, and but I've talked to people who just didn't like it, and that's fine. So, I mean, I like games that a lot of people don't like, so had to be expected. Yeah, it's amazing how many facehuggers there are here. I can't remember if I take fall damage in this game. I don't think I do. Remember, there's also like upgrades you can get too, like for your flamethrower. Like it basically turns, like right now it's like orange or red. I don't know, I'm colorblind, but like it'll change to like blue. It does even more damage. Okay, I thought there was ammo here. I guess it's one. No, interesting. Okay. Leap of faith! Alright, made it. Yeah, I do not like the Genesis version, and I own it. Basically, the reason why I have the Genesis version is it came with a lot of other games. It was on eBay. It was like, I spent 15 bucks and got like 7 games complete in box. And one of the games was Alien 3. I'm like, sure, whatever, I'll add it to my collection. And then I played it, and I'm like, oh no. It's not cool. I mean, like, right now I'm rescuing prisoners like this, but the Genesis version is like a even bigger maze, and you have a countdown timer. You have to get all the prisoners in a time frame, and if you die, it starts over, and if you run out of time, it starts over, and if you get hit, you stay on the ground for a long time. It just eats up time. It's like a penalty for basically being bad, so yeah, I did not enjoy it at all. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing too. You actually have a motion sensor. So you said that you do like, you know, the Morgue. You said you like all the movies except for number 4. So I take it you've seen the assembly cut of Alien 3? There we go. So I actually have the Alien Quadrilogy on Blu-ray. Bought it for like 20 bucks. And yeah, definitely was worth it in my opinion. So my mom had like never seen Alien. She'd never seen Aliens. It was like, how can you go through life not seeing the movie Aliens? So I made her watch it. Is the director's cut version, of course. AKA the one without the huge plot holes. Yeah, from 2, I really don't like the theatrical version. I really do like the director's cut for Cameron, because it fills in plot holes. Like, because I remember as a kid, because I saw it when I was a kid, like just being annoyed at like okay, we're in the medical bay, we're safe. I'm like, how are you safe from anything in this entire facility? It's like, you are going to die horribly. It's like, I'm surprised they haven't found you yet already. And then you find out, like, oh, they have sentry auto guns, and, you know, they can set up on a perimeter, and we're gonna close off all these tunnels so that way they can't get into us. I'm like, why wasn't this in the film to start with? And then, of course, you know, you find out it was a cutscene because James Cameron likes to cut out stuff out of his films. Usually up to the tune of up to 20 minutes. So, I mean, Aliens filled in plot holes for me. It made more of a sense why she suddenly started the bond with Newt. You know, because she had lost her own daughter, like she had, you know, died years before while she was in space. and she saw that kind of motherly instinct and kind of saw her daughter in Newt, and that made sense more of like a bridging of the character, like why she kind of took over as the mother figure for her. And like I said, that was filled in more of the director's cut. Yeah, that too. I think they could have left it in. They could have trimmed it even more. It's kind of like the director's cut for Terminator 2, which is freaking amazing. Watch that version if you've never seen it. Oh my god. Even on the director's cut, a lot of times they'll leave out like the one scene of the T-1000 like running his fingers all over John Connor's room after he kills the foster parents, and he's like looking for information, and it wasn't really conveyed well that he can like sense different things with his fingers and his sensors and stuff, so even that usually gets cut out, even the director's cut. I think the one on Blu-ray I have even has that integrated back in as an option, but James Cameron as a whole usually just cuts out lots of good things from his movies. It drives me nuts. With the exception of Avatar. Avatar, like, the scenes cut out from that movie made sense. They were just not needed. Okay, so pretty sure I got that guy. I'm pretty sure. No, wait, I'm not even in the right place. Yeah, so where's Cellbot? Okay, so I'm rescuing prisoners who don't need to be rescued. Yeah, Robert Patrick was really good. He was definitely a slept-on actor for sure. But then, of course, like, the only other role that I can think of off the top of my head other than The Sopranos, I happened to catch that one, like, an episode he was in, because I didn't really watch a whole lot of Sopranos. He's not really more of a mobster guy. I remember, like, he did Terminator 2, and then the next thing I saw him in was, like, Wayne's World 2. He did, like, a spoof of himself, a little cameo shot, which is funny. And then he was in the Double Dragon movie, the live-action Double Dragon movie. And that's pretty much what I remember from that. So I gotta figure out where in the world Cell Block 3 is. Examine blueprints. Waste area 3. That's right. I forgot about that. So it's like I still to this day do not watch a lot of television, but I remember that he was on X-Files. He did replace David Duchovny when he left. Bug Wash 12. Whole bunch of eggs. Medic Bay 9. Corridor 12. So that just loops back. Ah, okay. Found it. Okay. So I need to go up. That's why I thought it was, because I remember playing this game thinking like, oh yeah, it's pretty close to the start, but it really was. Hey, Nimix. Yes, I love Alien 3. I don't love it, but I do enjoy playing it, and I just think it definitely does not get near enough attention for a game. All right, so let's head back up and get there. It's one game I really need to add to my collection because I do not have it for Super Nintendo. I have the Sega Genesis version, but I do not have it on the Super Nintendo, which is a real shame because I really need to add it to my collection. Is it task-worthy? I don't know, to be honest, if it'd be entertaining as a task, because you do spend a lot of time just kind of like going straight up to objectives, unless you can find some stuff to really make it kind of interesting, though. I mean, that's the whole thing. Has anybody done a task? If it would be my follow-up question. Let's check out taskvideos.org real fast. Movies. Super Nintendo. A lot of Contra. Nobody's done one yet, at least on task videos, so. Yeah, it's not that detailed. So unless there's like a glitch or something, you know, for it to make it more interesting to watch, I just don't really see it as being that much of an entertaining task to play. It's more of a fun game for me to play. Hey, you guys in the background, help me. Don't just stand there, for the love of God, I need help. Hey, Ribbon's got some arm strength, jeez. Yeah, exactly. It was timered, as I mentioned earlier. Whoa, I almost got a Ninja Gaiden bounce back on that. Yeah, so the levels for the Sega Genesis were timed, and they're usually like 5 minutes. You had to beat them in. Okay, let's see, that's right, Cell Block 3 is in here. Man, there are way too many facehuggers per prisoner ratio. And it just moved forward on a jump. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, but this has... I remember, like I said, I got really far when I played this back in the day. So I remember, like, you can get upgrades for your guns, like, especially your flamethrower. Like, you get, like, purple or blue flamethrower. That makes me wonder. Let me pull up, have a OBS screen. Let's see, what does cheats do? Hey! Now I have 2 subs. Nimix and the Borg! Yay! You guys are awesome. I love you all. I still need to think of like a mode or something for my channel, because it's never really crossed my mind until Nimix started subscribing. It's like, perhaps I should start doing that. Yeah, so I don't know how cheats work, so I'm not going to bother with that. So we'll continue for a little bit more, then we'll switch up games. Alright, made it. Wait. So, you were just holding on to those chains? Sir? Sir? You were holding on to the chains? Why? Yeah, so I gotta think of a emote. Something that'd be visible, I mean, because I've seen a lot of channels are just like, hey, here's an emote, and it's like, you can't see what in the world it is, because it's just like too small or complex. It's like, you gotta have something that makes sense. So, of course, I do pretty much quote The Simpsons on a daily basis, so something Simpsons like would be good, maybe. Or maybe the robot from Sewer Shark, because I love FMV games. I think of doing something. Yeah, he's really dedicated to doing like iron crosses, like for gymnasts. It's like, you know, like the rings, but it's just like he's a fear of heights, so he hasn't left the ground yet. He'll get there eventually. So I'm thinking, okay, so an emote would be good, but then also the other problems, I don't have any skills as an artist. So I would have to probably most likely hire somebody to do an emote for me. And as you know, I am unemployed. Yes, actually I like this. This game is challenging, though, Vultures. Also, welcome back. Good to see you. I will definitely say it is hard, but I don't think it's impossible. Like, if you've ever played, like for me, like an impossible game or really hard is Terminator for Genesis. Good God. Way back in the day, to tell my video game story, which is kind of very similar to Yellow Killer Bees, it turns out. It's one of the reasons why I like her so much. Is we have very similar origin stories in terms of gaming. But my parents were dead set against us having video games as kids for a long, long time. But every once in a while, we would rent a game console. I think I can drop down here, or no, that wasn't right. I'm getting confused, I'm not thinking clearly. But yeah, so we'd rent like video game consoles, and I lived on an Air Force base, grew up in the military as a kid. So what you could do, one of the things was like at the local like convenience store, they called them shopettes, was rent either a Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis. And basically you'd have it for like 3 days, and you could get 2 games with it. So, like the first games I ever played on the Sega Genesis when we rented it ourselves was Quackshot and Sonic the Hedgehog, and another game they had there as well was Terminator. So we had to pay out extra money just to rent the Terminator on top of the $15 deal. And oh my god, that game is just about impossible. So my first console is Super Nintendo. And let me know if I need to readjust the audio or anything, because I'm not sure if I'm being overpowered, because it's a little bit loud in my ears. I'm going to turn it down slightly. But no, my first gaming console my parents got me with actually was the Super Nintendo. Mostly because of how well I did in the Blockbuster World Video Game Championships. Because, like I said, we didn't own one. But I entered in the Blockbuster World Video Game Championships, and I came 1 point away from going to the state finals. So, and it was funny because, like, you know, the parents were like, "Oh yeah, my kid plays like, you know, like 5-6 hours a day or so," and they're like, "How long does your kid play?" And my mom's like, "We don't own a Super Nintendo." And they're like, "Whoa, okay, your kid's really good." So they kind of realized, well, you know, I kind of have a knack for it, and I really enjoyed it. Might as well kind of encourage my hobby, because I didn't really have many at the time outside of like music. So that's when they finally broke down and got a Super Nintendo for myself and my siblings, my older sister and my younger brother. And first games I got with that was it was the bundled in Super Mario All Stars, but it wasn't the version with World, because that came later. So we had like Mario games at the wazoo to play for the first games. So it was Super Mario All Stars, Super Mario World, because that still came bundled in with the systems. Actually, no, wait a second. My parents bought All Stars separately. That's right, it wasn't bundled in yet at that time. So yeah, so it was like All Stars, Super Mario World, and Pilot Wings were my first Super Nintendo games. Okay, cool. So I heard that little da-da-da-da-da-da, so that means that your mission's complete. So let's backtrace out of here. Find ourselves another terminal. So Super Nintendo was my first console, and then it just kind of escalated up from there. Then we got the Nintendo 64, and ooh, can't shoot down. Okay, that's a problem. Nintendo 64. Then I got a Sega Saturn, Dreamcast. It just kind of took off from there. PlayStation, everything, you know, it accelerated quickly for me. And that's the thing, like, I stopped to think back about it, like, a couple days ago. Like, I was, I had played the Sega Genesis before, but I didn't really care. It didn't really strike my interest. I was just, like, I was aware of it. Like, I played Altered Beast in, like, a Toys R Us, I want to say. And this was, like, back in '89 or so when the Genesis was brand new in the States. I was like, whatever. It just didn't, like, it didn't click in my mind, every kid was like pretty much obsessed with like Nintendo, and that was me too. I was like, yeah, Nintendo, go to a friend's house, play it all night, and things like that. But like for the Genesis, didn't really get on my radar at all, really, until like maybe a couple of years ago, to be honest, when I kind of got a little more serious about collecting for it. Even though I had had one for like almost 20 years at that point, bought it off a friend of mine in high school. But yeah, the Dreamcast I was definitely excited for. Didn't have any handhelds. Actually, my first handheld system was actually a Game Gear. I bought it off a friend of mine at the time, military base. He was going to be moving away. He didn't play it. So I was like, dude, I'll buy it off you. And he like talked to his parents. His parents okayed it. I bought that off of him. So it was the Game Gear. He had Mortal Kombat and Axe Razor, I think it was, which is kind of like the Golden Axe RPG. And then my brother and I started buying like Sonic games, and then it got wrecked in a flood, unfortunately. Alright, so that's Alien 3 for Super Nintendo. There's a lot of games I kind of want to get through, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. Although I do like this game, I'll probably come back and play it again. Yeah, there was while I was living in Michigan, I was living in southwestern Michigan about, geez, it's been over 10 years now. But we had like this major, massive rainstorm come down. It's like rainstorm of like the century type deal. And my basement flooded. And when I say flooded, it would start off like a little puddle here or there. No problem, got it cleaned up. Next thing I know, there was like 7 inches in the basement. I'm like, oh my god, and like everybody's basements pretty much throughout the town just flooded. It was just, the ground was so saturated. And it was just like a lot of stuff got wrecked. Taking a look, yeah, because I remember like the Game Gear got hosed, and then like there's mold growing too, so we had to toss out a lot of other things. And I had Supreme Warrior, I think it was, which was like a full motion video game. The karate kung fu one for the 3DO that got trashed. So yeah, so like now whenever it rains, like I have like that twitch in the back of my head, like, oh god, go check the basement, make sure it's not flooding. But yeah, so I unfortunately lost the Game Gear to that, never got around to replacing it, and I think the Game Gear might be kind of surging in cost again. I mean, the way the retro systems are going these days. It's like how I got my 32X for free, and I know other people who bought it for under $10, and now that's selling for like $80. Let's see, Game Gear. Yeah, so Game Gear's refurbished ones, basically people have replaced capacitors and brightened up the screen. They're selling for anywhere between, yeah, probably about close to $80 on average online now. Yeah, that game was, I like FMV games, but Supreme Warrior was just way too hard. I could never figure out the timing for that game. Now this game, I played it once when emulators were kind of a new thing. So it's been 20 plus years. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, they ported Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game, to the Super Nintendo, and I hadn't heard about it. And I'm like, yeah! So I downloaded the ROM, and because I was on a 56K modem, it took like 20 minutes to download. Get going, fire up the emulator, and no, and you get this game instead. Yeah. It's a shame. I really think they could have ported Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game, to the Super Nintendo. There would have been cuts just like you did for any other Super Nintendo port. Oh wow, this is jank. Yeah, so you can't see me right now, but I'm here. So it's a side-scroller. It's a beat-em-up. Yeah, I look really bizarre. Yeah, so this is... It's amazing, like, how few enemies you have on the screen. It's like one at a time, please. Yeah, it's like, and your helmet doesn't look like it's a helmet, it looks like it's part of your body. And I'm wearing a weird kind of blue Speedo for the beach. Head looks too big for the body, so... Oh, hey, look, we got two people on screen at once. That's an improvement. Have a slide. Only one. So, L and R do slides. I'm trying to see, like, what do I have? I have a hurricane kick. Pick up skulls. Yeah, everything is wet and dripping, so apparently, like, they did not call the plumber. I can't pick up and throw people. Oh man, this is so clunky. It's like, it's kind of hard to like, it's hard to like look at something and go like, it doesn't look like that bad, but then you like actually get your hands on the control. It is like clunky as hell. It's like you move pretty quickly, but then like the actual combat itself is like slow and stilted. Okay, so in the movie, this is a disc that the Predator would throw and it'd come back like a boomerang, which you think you would kind of want to get out of the way, kind of like that kid in Mad Max. But apparently this is just a straight projectile, no return trip. Yeah. Okay, enough of this abomination. So, let's see. I gotta do things a little differently. So, if you have RetroArch, if you went through and actually downloaded it from the couple times I put the links into the chat, do not do the current update. Like, you have like the ability, like in RetroArch, to go and do an online updater. Where is it? This thing here, and do the assets and stuff. Don't do that right now. It's basically, it's not reading 360 controllers correctly. It's reading everything as an 8-bit duo or whatever it is those controllers are. So certain things are not working right for certain games. For example, I have it set so you press in the right and left thumbsticks at the same time. It brings up this menu. It doesn't work right now. And earlier today I saw that there was a person who put in a trouble ticket for it to get it fixed, but then he canceled it out. He's like, oh, never mind. It's like, no, dude, people have this problem. So when I get done with stream tonight, I'm going to have to file in that trouble ticket and have them kind of work on it. Alright, so where am I getting? Not Super Nintendo. Sega Genesis. Here we go. So, did Alien 3 on Super Nintendo. Against my better decisions, let's fire up the Sega Genesis version. Is this the one? No, this is not the one I want to use. Not this core, at least. The Pico drive actually has it closer to a 4x3 format for visuals. Share our screen. Here we go. The ultimate worst is when I see people playing video games that were designed for 4x3 televisions in aspect, and they're playing it 16:9 stretched, and they don't care. They're like, "Oh, what's wrong with it? It looks fine." I'm like, "No, it does not." I have to say, this is really upbeat music for the entire premise of the game. Doing a little dance you can't see. Okay, so let's see. I want fire, jump, select. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Now, I gotta think about this here. So I have A, B, C. So yeah, C needs to be fire. And a jump. There we go. That should do it right. Yeah, so this is drastically different from the Super Nintendo version. I don't know why, but I'm leaning forward quite a lot. Here we go, pulse rifle. Ah! Okay, I screwed up the controls. It's driving me nuts. I can't figure it out. Reset. We'll get it right. No. Jammed on the button. Not smart. Let's try this again without that. Options. There we go. Okay, so jump, select. Guess it was right unless it's screwing up, like I said, you know, because controls are messed up with the current update they need to fix. So we'll just leave that and hopefully I get it right. No. Okay, so it's reading A as B. Okay. So apparently Spider-Man has attacked these people and they're just kind of swimming in air. Fall damage is a thing. I just remembered right now. You can't jump off of ladders. And I have under 3 minutes to try to rescue everybody. Okay, can't go up or down the ladder. Now I can. Okay, it's different. And you can't run up slopes. And you can't shoot left or right on ladders. Oh man, this game. This game is special. I have to say though, it's got really good stereo separation. If you have headphones on, you can hear like the drums in left and the right ears. Okay, so this is the exit. Can't shoot. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Okay. And I don't have a motion tracker anymore. I guess maybe that's not the exit? So unfortunately, this entire game is just a big giant puzzle race against the clock. Thanks, game. Get up, Ripley. Oh good, I have 8 seconds left to get back to the exit now. And guess what? It starts all over. You have to go and do it all over again. All the prisoners are still tied up. Yeah, so that's why I don't like this game. It's just, it's not fun. It is not for me. The music is really good. I will give it that. I will be positive on that note. It is pretty good. It's got really decent for Genesis. It's got good stereo separation, which a lot of Genesis games just didn't really kind of do for music a lot of times, from what I've heard. So I mentioned it earlier, even though the theme content is kind of like Aliens, but let's do Terminator real quick, just to show you what that's like. Not Terminator 2, but... Oh, it's probably underneath the Terminator. For me. Here we go. Oops, dang it. Stupid 360 controller. Hit down on the game side to go. Nope, left. Terminator There we go. Mean Terminator 2? Terminator 2, the arcade game, is fun. I will give it that. This game is based off of the original 1984-85 film. Yeah. Pico Drive. Here we go. So this is one of the other games that we rented for the Sega Genesis when I was a kid. I don't think we ever got past the first level until we started putting in, like, I had a GamePro magazine which had cheats for the game. You know, because this is back before the internet. So, yeah, so you had to, like, get video game magazines and hope they had codes in there for it. So I had to have this big pile of magazines, GamePros, simply for the cheat sections. And one of the ones was for, I think it was invincibility or level select, so we kind of got to see the rest of the game, but this one's really rough. The Super Nintendo version, which I didn't know they had for... Actually, a friend of mine had it. I got to play it like around 94 or so. There's actually a Terminator 1 video game for the Super Nintendo. It's just as crazy. Luca Jim, he actually he has the only speedrun for this game that I'm aware of. He's got the world record for the Super Nintendo version. My brother and I were really big Terminator fans at the time, so we're like, yes, it's gonna be great. Yes. Yeah, it turns out it's not a soundboard that they use. It's actually Arnold. He likes to call up people and just recite all his famous lines to people. Very common misconception. So your weapons in this game are grenades. Grenades and a jump. That's it. And you get a time bomb. Fast as you can throw, that thing pretty much goes, and bam. So he walked into me, so I have almost no health left. You can also roll grenades, but when you go down underground, this next part, there are Terminators all over the place, and your grenades just go chucking right into the ceiling. Okay, that's the wall you gotta destroy. And by the way, there's only one life, if I remember correctly. Game over. How brutal is this game? You've just seen how brutal it is. Yeah, so imagine, I mean, I rented this game, but I couldn't imagine how upset I'd be like if I owned a Genesis at this time period and I bought the game with my own money. Oh. It's not Fantasia, but wow, it's not good. Yeah, you have infinite grenades, but like one of the things I didn't do when I was down there, like with all the Terminators there, is if you stand up and try to throw your grenades normally, they just go directly and explode into the air, like right up above your head. So you have to duck and try to lob them at them that way. Yeah, the music doesn't fit. I mean, this is like a, you know, this is more of a try to do a cover of the opening poorly, but... What are my options? Let's restart real quick. Pardon me. Because if you hit start, even if you're on options, it doesn't go into options. Let's say normal, difficult, very hard, or easy. Let's see what easy does. So you see there's like any sound samples, it seems to be beeps and boops. There's a sound sample.
I'll be back.
Okay, so let's try easy, and then we'll get back to the Aliens games. You cannot throw grenades in the air either. This seems like you can only damage this thing when you get too close to it, so... So half my life, just trying to get past the first enemy. I think the Uzi 9mm. It's like, okay, actually, to continue on your quote there, it's like, hey pal, you just buy what we got here behind us. Is Keiko still outside? No, she is sleeping on my bed. Alright, so then he gets the Uzi 9mm. It's like a 45 with this wicked sleek laser sight on it. Vision mailed, alright. So I think you can blow up this HK flying ship. Like everything else in this game. Yeah, okay, cool, there we go. Yeah, it comes right back. That's right. I can remember like why I used to kind of just, you know, wait out the missiles like I did before. I mean, this is a very inefficient way to try to murder somebody for a Terminator. Slowly dropping bombs. Okay, appointment at 8:30. There. Okay. Yeah, 45, long slide with laser sighting. And this is like a barrier here. So, yeah, so I have a momentary reprieve. Holy crap, it gave me a weapon. That's an improvement, okay. Because I was going to throw grenades down here to show you them exploding. Okay, so easy mode is the way to play this game. I'm fascinated because I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever gotten this far in this game. You can't run and fire at the same time. It stops you in its tracks. Ah! Very long pause. Okay. And you still can't shoot and jump at the same time. Wait, did I kill everybody on the screen? Yeah, it just kills everybody on the screen instantly. Yeah, this music does not fit whatsoever. Yeah, so... Great, so it kills the people on top. Okay, enough of this. Back to the theme for tonight, Aliens games. So we've done Alien 3 for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. We played Alien vs. Predator, the arcade, or not the arcade. I've done it before in the past. It takes a while to stream, though. Let's see, what else can we do? Yes. I got something. Give me a second here. I'm launching up a new emulator. Okay. Window capture. Not sure exactly how much it's going to capture when I launch the game, but there once upon a time was a system called the Atari Jaguar. Nobody liked it. It sold very, very poorly. However, there was one shining example of a game, if you can call it that. Alien vs. Predator. Now, to say this game is good is like, people often cite this as like the best game on the system, which is, it's really kind of telling because this is not really that good of a game. I do need to configure controllers real quick. Let's see. Keyboard, no. Here we go. Okay, cool. So those are all set. Perfect. I think like the game, a lot of people, one, if you saw a Jaguar, which is really rare, even like for a lot of places, I remember. Usually the game I think most people have played on it was Tempest 2000. I think was the port of that game. It came on the Jaguar, which is pretty good. And Doom. I think those were like Doom and Wolfenstein, like were the two kind of shooter games people had played. But this was hailed as like one of the best games for the Atari Jaguar. And I only knew of like one kid who had an Atari Jaguar when I was in school. So you get to pick, I mean, the biggest thing at the time, this would actually be later copied for the PC version of Alien vs. Predator Classic, as we call it now, or Alien vs. Predator 2000, because it gives you the option to play as the different characters. I mean, you can play as the alien, you can play as the Predator, or you can play as the lonely colonial marine. Let's try the Predator. This thing, apparently the simulator I'm using, it's called Virtual Jaguar 2.1. Apparently it looks like it supports the CD games. So I have played Highlander for the Jaguar CD, and oh dear lord. The other night I was trying to remember like what game where controls were merely a suggestion. You and I are having that conversation. Highlander for the Jaguar CD is like, you can put the controller on the ground and suddenly your character will start moving. You know, it's all over the place. Alright, claim the skull of the alien queen. Attack when visible to gain honor and points. Lose points by killing without honor. Points gain access to superior weapons. Fire. Alright. So, as you can see right now, it's really choppy. This is the frame rate for the game. It really is. This is not like an emulation error or anything. It runs this slow and this jagged. Now, the big thing about the Atari Jaguar is you had like this ridiculous looking controller. And it looks pretty much like a calculator, pretty much. Controller, here we go. Image a new tab. Make sure I'm not copying all my pornography. But yeah, that's the Atari Jaguar controller if you've never seen one before. And why someone thought that this would be the best controller to ship with is beyond me. I can get the ABC buttons, but everything else is weird. I mean, have numbers, and some of the games would have like overlays, kind of like the old, oh gosh, what was that? The ColecoVision, where you'd have like overlays for, to tell you like basically because it was like a number pad, and it would tell you what button did what for all the keys, like the number 1, 2, and 3 on top of the analog stick. Yeah, what the hell is ergonomics, Atari Jaguar? But yeah, so someone at Atari, because I mean Atari never got out of their 1982 mindset, just thought that was the best thing ever. Slowly I turned up. I think I see someone down here. No, it's the Marine I killed. So yeah, so this is boring as hell. So let's reset the game. Hopefully it doesn't crash. This crashed earlier. Okay, cool, it didn't. Let's try this again. But I'm going to pick the Marine, because I know that you get like a shotgun right away. Get a little more interesting. Let's see, why had the RetroArch just launch? What? Colonial Marine, yeah. Ooh, I'm in the brig because I struck an officer.
What on earth got a hold of this guy?
Look, aliens! Let's see if they want to play. And you get damage for walking through it because their blood is acid. And keep in mind that I don't think there's really a way to kind of sneak by that. Let's see if we can. Nope, you still get hurt. Another great, brilliant design of this game. So other ones were like Revolution, like, wow, I can't believe they thought of that. But it's like, but when you have corridors this small, it really does not help. There we go. I turn on a different rendering measure. So here we go. I was thinking like it's still a little too slow, but yeah, this is the actual speed that the console ran at. That's better. Up the blitter. Not glitter, blitter. It's a rendering. Isn't this so exciting? Fusing layouts. Yeah, the view distance of a Nintendo 64 game. Yeah, I mean, I saw an Atari Lynx. I mean, you talk about like unwieldy handhelds. That was the king of it. But I mean, it had really good graphics and sound. Like I said, the Atari Lynx was one of those another rare things you didn't really see too often. Or at least I didn't as a kid. But it's a door, yeah. But it was like it looked really well. But then you have like the Jaguar, and they kept billing it as like a 64-bit system, which it really wasn't. But it's just, it fell so flat when you compare what you had at the time. Even like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis beat these things into the ground. And then you had, of course, like the, PlayStation, the Saturn, No music, nothing. I mean, these were cartridges. It was just bad. I can't even tell you where my health bar is. See energy in the top right corner, but... And of course, the Marines are known for having pulse rifles, so what do they give you at the start of the game? A shotgun. Why? Because Doom had a shotgun. Food! Thank goodness I collected food. I don't know what I'd do without it. It's been 5 minutes since I ate, so I don't know. Oh, and I'm out of ammo, so I'm dead. Pretty much. And the most amazing thing is they were done more competently than this, too. Oh. Purple had a high score. Remember when games had high scores? Weird thing to think of now, but... I mean, that was like your bragging rights for back in the day. So, I do have some other games I really want to try out real quick since I have the Jaguar open. Pardon me. So... yeah, this is not rendering right at all. Perfect. Kasumi Ninja. So yeah, I'm using like the fast splitter. I gotta turn that off. It's gonna make it too slow. I don't know if I can download that game, Morg. I mean, it's like 1.7 megabytes. That's huge. It's going to take forever. I don't think you really understand what you're asking me to do here. I mean, it's going to take forever to do it. Maybe someday in the future we will have supercomputers that are capable of be able to download all these games in super fast speed, but... okay, so I gotta relaunch the emulator real quick. And it's gonna crash because it's not really designed for Windows 10. See, the only time like this tends, like the virtual Jaguar tends to crash is only on exit, thankfully. So it's not during gameplay or anything that I've seen so far messing with it earlier today. Now, keep in mind, I have never heard of this game. I've heard of the game, but I've never, like, seen the gameplay, I should clarify. So I have no idea what I'm getting into. Yeah, I think that was pretty much the Jaguar's, like, tagline for their system. Prepare for mediocrity, and that's like being generous. That's being very generous. Okay, so it's a side scroller. It's a shmup. Yeah, somebody like saw Wing Commander and said, you know what, the cat's already. They're like, yeah, we can do that better. This was their launch game. Wow. Showing off all those 64 bits. Wow. So, maybe it's Infinite Continues, I'm not sure. It's like, what's the point of all this? Star Fox, which ran at like 3 frames per second, was more entertaining. Yeah, so what was the launching game, like the launch game? Like I said, almost everybody that I knew or had ever heard of who had owned a Jaguar had, you know, like it was either Doom, Wolfenstein, or Alien vs. Predator. Those were like the only games that were deemed like worthy to be on the system. Cybermorph, yes. Where did you learn how to fly? My minions will destroy you. Say, it's like, I would say this would be like a Flash game, but that's like an insult to Flash games. Even at the time, oh good lord, this thing has like a life bar from hell. Yeah, so it's like Infinite Continues, I think. You do like so little damage on this thing. Oh my god. Is it finally game over this time? Really, for sure? Oh, thank goodness. Yay, I survived! Okay, so this has to be at least as good as the Super Nintendo version, I would hope. Presented in 3D sound. This thing wasn't even capable of doing Pro Logic, why even lie? Now, just remember the Super Nintendo version, or even the Sega Genesis version, how that sounded. Hey, actually it has the arcade scaling. That is kind of interesting to see.
Head fake. Hello. Johnson, eating up.
Okay, so there's my turbo. I mean, it could definitely be a lot worse. I mean, the Super Nintendo, I just remember being so much more fun, but I mean, this is actually kind of closer to the arcade visuals, because you'd have more of a scaling going on. The heads are still screwed up. But you had scale, like you get bigger and smaller, which the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis versions didn't have. But I mean, the music for this is pathetic. Sound clips are good.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah. Alright, enough of that. Goodbye, Jaguar. So, we've done Alien vs. Predator, Jaguar, Sega Genesis, Alien 3. Let's have some more fun. We'll get out my arcade stick. There. We'll let you guys listen to the geeks a second. Let me grab my arcade stick real fast. Alright, Keiko, go back to sleep. Alright. Actually, let's play the music. It's just gonna loop again. I'll be back in like just a minute. Hit the restroom real quick, and then we're gonna start up some more Aliens games. Be right back. Alright, I am back. So let me just kill the music. This is actually, it's a Japanese band called Geeks. Like them a lot. They're one of my favorite Japanese bands. But basically I have like two different types of games I could play. Tell you what, we'll just do them one after another. Let's see. We're looking at black screen for just a second. I think I still have it in here. Arcade. There we go. I do. Oh. The pain has returned. Okay, so continuing with my original theme of aliens because I keep getting sidetracked tonight. We're gonna play Aliens. This time it's war. Yeah.
Aliens.
So, this is an arcade game that I've actually played. I would love to own one myself. Yeah, well, you put her in charge. God, it's like... Bill Paxton's character was so annoying in that movie. It's like the one complaint my mom had. She's like, no Marines would ever ask No Marines would ever act this way. I'm like, of course, it's the whole, exaggeration of personalities, which is why you make Ripley seem more sane just by compared to these other idiots, with the exception of Hicks. But yeah, it's just, this is actually an arcade game that, like I said, I would love to get my hands on myself. It's one I used to play back when I was living in California. Yeah, Travis Air Force Base. The bowling alley had arcade machines. They had Toki going ape spit, which is a lot of fun. Final Fight, and then they had Aliens. So my brother and I got a lot of play on this game, and it didn't save my configuration. Of course not. Game inputs. Let's get this set up real quick. So we actually, like, one day we got $10 each from my parents, my mom. And, like, we spent it all just, like, burning through all the arcade games. We beat Toki, which took a lot of time. Pardon me, and Aliens. Here we go. So, rule number 1 for this game. Turn on auto fire. Good lord. I'm playing with an arcade stick which has auto fire. It will save your hand. So this game is kind of unique. It's a 2-button game, so you have... I got like... It's going too fast. Okay, so it's... What is going on with my arcade stick? Okay, this game is actually... Okay, this game is auto fire. That's what kept screwing up. I turned on auto fire, thinking it wasn't that, and it does it by default. But this game is unique in the fact that it has 2 different attacks. You have a normal, then you have crouching. There's also a lot of alien designs that just did not exist. It even had like the dog-leg aliens like these guys before Alien 3 came out. Newt, come back, you idiot! I need you! Yes, this is a lot of fun. I love this game. I have a lot of games that when I finally get my back fixed... Oh, by the way, I have good news on that. So, I saw a new surgeon just to basically sidetrack because I've been drinking whiskey now. Because my pain meds run out tomorrow, so I'm basically going to get drunk for a lot because I don't work anymore. But I saw a new surgeon, and he agreed with me. He's like, yeah, you need a back fusion, dude. It's like, what the hell? He's like, your back is falling apart. So, basically what we're doing is we're doing a whole bunch of tests. I need to have a CAT scan done, an MRI, a new one, and also nuclear imaging. Basically take a look at the bones and nerve structures and everything that doesn't show up normally otherwise. Having all those done in one day. But the reason why is because you need to find out what type of fusion you need to have done. Because... Ooh, died already. So we'll chalk that with the booze. But, because there's lots of different types of fusions that you can have. I was kind of surprised to learn all the different types of techniques. It depends on what type of problems you have. So we need to determine exactly what type of fusion I need to have done specifically. We know it's 3 levels, L3, 4, and 5. But this guy's finally like, yeah, you need to have this done. Because the previous guy was like, well, get a stimulator, they're great, but I don't want to see you back ever again. Don't follow up another appointment with me, and I'm not going to give any information about a stimulator. So good luck with that. It's like, well, go screw yourself, dude. So this guy's like, you don't do a stimulator before you have a fusion. That's stupid, because fusion fixes the back problem. If you still have pain going down your legs, then you do a stimulator. By the way, can you guys still hear me? Hopefully, I forgot to adjust the audio, so I'm not sure if it's screwing up on this or not. But yeah, so basically the doctor was like, you need to have a fusion first, and then you can talk about a stimulator if you still have pain going down your legs at that point. So, we're going down the process. I need to also do back injections. I need to do injection directly into my discs and also into my facet joints, which are basically the joints in between, like basically your bones, because I have osteoporosis really bad. What in the world? controller's screwing up. So it's a long process, so I need to get back injections as well, but they're going to let us know exactly, basically tell me what is wrong with the back in order to help get it fixed. So finally progress is being made. It makes me a lot happier, because the longest time it was just, people have just been ignoring me. It's like they just didn't care. They're just like, yeah, you need a back fusion, good luck with that. You're like, or the normal excuse of, you're too young to have this problem at 37. And it's like, no kidding, I have a back of a 75-year-old man, but here I am, the problem needs to be fixed. Wow, I'm really terrible. Like I said, though, chalk it up to whiskey. So unfortunately, so that basically brings me back to my original point, is that I had so my Oxycontin was not working correctly. It's basically, it's not killing the pain. It turns out that it's more of a booster for me, so if it works with, like, basically you take it with something else, like, take Oxy with hydrocodone, it works really effectively. Heard me. Unfortunately, I've been on Vicodin or hydrocodone for 2 years now, so it's no longer really effective, and I can't take the dose of it anymore. You can't really go much higher without the risk of damaging my liver. So the doctor put me, my pain doc put me on hydrocodone instead, and that's doing nothing by itself. It's like I'm almost on nothing. You know, it kicks in, it works for a little bit for maybe like the first 20 minutes, but then it kind of stops. So basically, you know, my pain doc, I was kind of afraid, because like with the current climate of basically opioids are bad and everyone takes them, are a drug addict type deal, because thanks to the government, go screw yourself, Obama administration on that point. Basically, I was concerned about escalation. Really, I died from a 10-foot drop. Because one of the things that they tell you when you go to sign up for a pain clinic is, like, they are paranoid about this stuff. I mean, they treat you like you're a criminal, pretty much. I've had 6 drug tests in a row. The last time I went and got my last prescription, they didn't test me finally. It's always random, but it seems like every time I go, I get drug tested just to make sure I'm taking my drugs and not selling them to anybody or doing illicit drugs on top of it. So... and one of the things they tell you is, like, if you start adapting to the drugs too much, like if they put you on hydrocodone or Vicodin number 5 milligrams, and then like 2 weeks later, like, oh, it's not working, I need 10s, I need, you know, whatever. You start escalating too quickly than you're supposed to be doing, they can kick you off the program because they think you're abusing your drugs. You're taking more than you're supposed to be taking for your pain control. So that was one of the concerns I had, because I'm like, because I started off on oxycodone's 5s, you know, the most recently, and then they didn't do anything. So he's like, well, let's try 10s, which is doubling the dose. Still didn't do anything for me, you know, outside like the 20 minutes, and then after that's just pure agony. So I'm like, okay, it's like, it looks like I'm abusing the drugs, but I'm not. He's like, well, it's not a problem with oxycodone. Some people, it just stops working, it doesn't work, period. So what they're doing is they're moving me over to a pain patch called Butrans. You put it on, it lasts all week long, continuously releasing out stuff 24/7, sounds amazing. Unfortunately, thanks to Obamacare bullshit, my insurance that I have, which is $400 a month with an $8,000 deductible, I said that right, $8,000 deductible, $400 a month for that bullshit. Basically, they require pre-authorization on everything. Any type of prescription written, even if it's life-saving prescriptions, require pre-authorization. So they have to go through and justify it and say, yes, you need to have these drugs, or no, you don't. Here's our reason why. They're holding up my pain patch. So I am left pretty much without pain control right now. I'm left to pretty much drinking whiskey to basically try to kill most of the pain I have, which doesn't work too well, but it works better than nothing. And that was 2 days ago. So unfortunately, without insurance authorization, if I were to buy my new pain prescription pills, like the patch, it's $375 for each patch. So it's like, okay, well, I have to wait for the authorization for the doctor in order to go through for the insurance. In order to get this, that's just unattainable. On top of the $400 a month in insurance, just about. So it leaves me in the lurch. So I'm still waiting for Blue Cross Blue Shield to get off their butt and give me my meds. Like I said, because unfortunately in this country now, it's like if you need pain management, you are treated like a criminal. We all remember these wall blobs from Aliens, right? And all the pink aliens. Yeah, it would have been great to have Ripley in this movie with a smart gun. I would have loved to have seen that. Shooting giant scores of people. But yeah, so that's basically what's been going on with me, is that I'm finally going down the path to, you know, wow, 1-up, I've never seen that here. Basically getting a back fusion, but it's just gonna take more time. Alright, see you later, Nimbix, thanks for hanging out. And of course, thank you for that gift description as well, the Nimbix, that's pretty awesome of you. Or not Nimbix, to the Morgue, it's pretty awesome of you. Yes, shooting candy corn or lemons, I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, we'll go with candy corn, it looks close enough. I mean, you gotta do something with the candy corn, nobody eats that stuff. Oh no, I dropped 5 feet! Alright man, catch you later, Nimbix. Power Looter! Oh yeah. So this is your straight off attack, like your number 1 attack, but your crouching attack is more of a stronger vertical. I will say that this game has an amazing amount of like variants for aliens, you know? Instead of just having one xenomorph over and over again, they did really invent a lot of new things like the flying versions and all sorts of cool things. So it's really inventive. Speaking of which, like, speaking of aliens, I remember way back in the day, wow, that guy's just right on top of me, I can't get out and can't shake him, but they were trying to, there was at one point an Aliens cartoon that they were going to have, because I remember back when I was a kid, they even had, like, Rambo cartoon, and they sold Terminator 2 toys back when it was brand new, so one of the things that they had launched was a pilot episode for Aliens as a cartoon show. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, nobody's ever, like, there's screenshots of it online, but no one's ever dumped the episode at all. If it still exists, it may be lost media, unfortunately. That is something that happens, that basically sometimes things just get lost to time, it's not archived, and they just disappear forever. But at one point there was going to be an Aliens cartoon show marketed to children. An R-rated movie. As I said, I remember RoboCop being a cartoon, I remember like Terminator 2 toys, Rambo was a cartoon when I was a kid. I had the action figures, I still have the action figures for Rambo. Which would, I mean, can you imagine the backlash that would happen now if somebody were to market like R-rated movies as toys in a cartoon to children? With our current outrage culture? Oh good lord, you'd never hear the end of it. I don't remember this boss at all. Oh, now I do. Hey, Ronnie, what's up? You missed it. I played some Jaguar a little bit ago. Maybe you did. I don't know. You may have been lurking. Played some Alien vs Predator. Tried to do Kasumi Ninja, but it started glitching up pretty bad for whatever reason. I don't know. It worked earlier. Kasumi Ninja. So the theme tonight had pretty much been, let's say it wasn't that long. Alien vs Predator was like 10-15 minutes total. But yeah, the theme tonight is pretty much Aliens games. Nah, it really doesn't. Had to look down to turn on my turbo, screwed up. But yeah, it doesn't play too well with it. I'm using Virtual Jaguar, which does reasonably well. I remember earlier today when I was testing out Kasumi Ninja, pretty much the only problem was like the floor wasn't rendered correctly. I was thinking, man, like the game doesn't control well either, but it's Kasumi Ninja. It doesn't control well to begin with. Newt, stay still. Don't get grabbed by an alien. Hey, that's the first time she didn't listen to me. Yeah, so one of the things I was kind of surprised to see is that there is actually Jaguar support on the RetroArch now, but it does not run well at all. Yeah, so I have Wolfenstein 3D downloaded, but I haven't tried it out yet. I have that in Doom. I did try NBA Jam, which is kind of interesting, because the sound was garbage. I mean, just because it was a Jaguar, they didn't put any effort into the music. But it's actually kind of closest to the arcade that I've seen, really. So, I mean, like, it had the proper scaling for the sprites and everything. But yeah, I played Alien vs Predator, played once as the Predator, and then once as the Marine. I said earlier, it's like, this game is like really imaginative when it comes to the different aliens' designs, you know? I mean, they only had like one xenomorph to work off of. And they just invented so many other things. I mean, they have like the dog aliens. This is before Alien 3 came out, so... Credit dub, 26 credits. We're gonna beat this today. And then I started off the stream by playing Alien 3 on Super Nintendo, and then Sega Genesis. And then, because it came up with conversation, I also played a little bit of Terminator on Genesis, just to show how unfair that game is. Stupid floor aliens. So we all remember this part from Aliens, the movie, right? Crawling through air vents, aliens coming after them, steam vents everywhere. Oh, technically they did go through the air vents in the movie. They were being chased, but not like this. Ripley did not have a smart gun. Would have been cooler if she did. I mean, sure, was a badass in that movie. I was hoping I'd get it for the three-way bullets and mistimed it. Oops. Oh no! I dropped 5 feet. It was terrible. Down we go. Incredible shrinking and enlarging aliens. This game's kind of weird. It's like you have auto fire for your main default weapon, but as soon as you get a special weapon, then you don't have auto fire anymore. You have to manually press the button each time for each shot. And you do have input lag or response lag for it when you do it. So like you can press it too fast and you'll have like start doing stutter shots. I'm not sure what it gave me, but okay. I think I'm actually getting close to the end of the game. I remember this game not being too long. It's definitely a quarter muncher. It's not the most unfair game I've seen, but I remember not being too long. Oh yes, the electric aliens. We all remember them. So the other day I saw, I think it was yesterday they announced it, but the 1-Up arcades, you know, arcade 1-Ups I should say, they're basically people who make like those really cheap particle board arcade systems that are oversold and total lie, not 3/4 size. They have a new set of games coming out. One of them is going to be Final Fight, which people have known about, Final Fight, Strider, and something else. And then the other big announcement was Mortal Kombat. So it'd be like Mortal Kombat 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. That sounds pretty interesting. Except for the fact that I played the Street Fighter 2 one, and the Asteroids one was broken because the spinner doesn't freely spin. It's a locking spinner. It's really weird. But, I say it's still neat, but they're still junk. Do not buy those things. The arcade 1-Ups, in my opinion. Stick with the emulation. Make yourself a main system. Buy an actual arcade unit itself. It'll be a lot more rewarding. As one man's opinion who actually owns an arcade machine. This is the queen? Yep. This is a lot easier in two-player. Because you can have one person watch the back and then the other person just basically focus on the front, because that's very much what brother and I did this back when we played this in the arcade way back in the day. I never played Alien Trilogy. Actually, I have it on the Sega Saturn. I downloaded it, but I have not played it. Trying it out yet to see if it works. Heard it was an alright game, though. There was also an Alien Resurrection game, remember, as well, came out on PlayStation. I have no idea about that one. But then, of course, they have the Die Hard trilogy. I played that on stream once. That was interesting, to say the least. Really? The queen moves so fast and just stays right on top of you. Yay! I did it with the help of infinite credits. Mission complete. The alien's breeding ground has been... pop up crap on the screen, can't read. Destroyed, and the last of their flung into timeless space. Okay. Good old English. You have also survived. Congratulations. Ooh, it's all done. And with that, we've reached the end of the stream for today. Like I said, I'm in a lot of pain, been drinking a lot of whiskey. Unfortunately, I have a very, very early morning appointment tomorrow. urologist because of my back. So I need to make sure I try to get some rest before then. But thanks for hanging out, everybody, especially Ronnie, Nimix, the Morgue, especially the Nimix, because, you know, he actually gave the Morgue a gift sub to my channel, which is really awesome. I really need to work on trying to figure out how to mow for my channel. And also, No Vultures dropped by too. Again, I'll also always see everybody should stop by. So I will hopefully be back again streaming tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, just type it into Google and it will let you know when it is. You can also check me out at Worsel555 on Twitter. You don't have to follow me, but you can just bookmark the page. I usually post on there if I'm going to be streaming ahead of time, or if I need to cancel for whatever reason. So you can keep informed there, because I might have to cancel again tomorrow. We'll have to see. So I'm still trying to figure out what I want to stream, since my original plans have kind of fallen through for doing a series. So think of games eventually there. Something I want to stream that'll be kind of interesting. So I was thinking like maybe doing like Final Fantasy IX, because I don't remember anything about that game whatsoever. It's been so long. But RPG is not really the most interesting thing to watch other people play on streams, so we'll think of something, and we'll come up with games or something to be a little more entertaining. But for now, thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you guys all possibly tomorrow, so thanks for hanging out.